to today's episode of Reclaim TV, and we have Michelle Taljaard and on today's, so welcome and thank you so much for getting on and providing some education around pain, because that's what this show is all about. It's about creating more awareness and understanding around your pain and injuries, so that that can obviously help you in so many different ways. So Michelle, I'll get you to explain your, your qualifications and why you do what you do.
Yeah, so kinesiology is very different. It doesn't just look at one dimension of the human being. So it looks at the emotional parts of you, the physical, obviously, because we're talking about physical pain. But how, as a proper, we call it a balance when you come for a session, because we're trying to balance your whole body, your emotional state, your mental, your physical, and your chemical. So nutritional as well as everything else.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so I studied a diploma of kinesiology. I've been practicing for 7 years, and I also did a whole year of brain integration for learning, which not only for learning, but also obviously because, you know, the nervous system, you go into the nervous system, you go into the brain, because the brain runs the body. And we've got basically a Western medicine mixed with Eastern. So we're going from anatomy and physiology from Western medicine, going into the body from a cellular level, organ function, and then we use the Chinese meridian system and various other energetic systems to help the body balance itself.
Wow.
So it's basically a simple version of it's like acupuncture without needles.
Yeah.
We use stress
That's nice.
diffusion points. Yeah, we use stress diffusion points to relieve stress in the body.
Yeah. And so one of the reasons why I really wanted you on to provide this sort of education is because it helped me so much. And I don't think, we were just talking about it before, but I don't think Michelle really realised how much it actually helped me. And I think because so often we get stuck on the well-known treatments, you know, chiros, physios, those sorts of things, which are amazing, but quite often we don't realise that there's actually a lot more to our pain and our injuries, especially for those ones that perhaps are more chronic.
Yes.
For me, you know, it did start from an actual acute injury, but then it's spanned on for 10 years, and there was really not anything wrong with me at the time for the rest of that time, but it just didn't seem to heal my pain. So I think understanding and learning the connection of emotions as well as the physical is something that was really profound in my healing and my ongoing healing. So I think I spent a good amount of time coming to see you, and it really did. And I used to, you know, because we did dive into emotions quite a lot. It was almost like a little bit of a psychology. But I learned so much about myself and my pain and my triggers for my emotions that I just think that so much can be
helped. So I can actually elaborate a little bit about the emotional physical connection.
Yeah, go.
So emotions, when we say we're feeling emotional, we're feeling reactive and stressed on some level, and there's often triggers, and it comes from our childhoods of unresolved stress and insecurities. So that's why, you know, sometimes you don't even know that you're stressed. But can be maybe social anxiety, going out, you're just not feeling great about yourself, and then people will say something and trigger a stress response. Or just generally in life, and you don't even know what your subconscious triggers are. And the amazing thing about kinesiology is that it goes into the subconscious, and there's stress diffusion points working with the subconscious, but actually diffusing that stress from your body, delving really, really deep and removing layers in a really gentle way, so it's not just wham, bam, straight away. That's why you came to a few sessions. Not like saying you have to come for hundreds of sessions. But the subconscious will only release certain layers, and then once you actually get to know why are you feeling so insecure, why are you stressed, what are your emotional triggers, relieving that stress from your body with these diffusion points that we use and various different techniques. You're not going to react in those circumstances anymore, so therefore there's no more emotional stress, and then it's not affecting your physical body, because when we get stressed, our body produces all these stress hormones to help you get away from that saber-tooth tiger in the caveman days. But because you're actually not running away, even though your muscles have become harder and stronger when you stress, because it thinks it's going to be maybe hit or maybe attacked, or you have to run really, really fast. And then also your posture changes as well, so you grip your jaw, you scrunch your muscles. Excuse me. Can we stop that?
That's okay.
Yeah, so you basically response of shoulders up, clenched jaw, then all the muscles in your body go under alignment because they're really holding on. And they're very stressed, and some are weak. Your whole posture comes out.
You do, and it, like what you find is you get into this guarding position. And,
that's right.
You know, I found myself in that position so often.
Yeah.
Throughout the day, most especially, even when I woke up in the morning, I would find I was in that guarding position,
anxious.
And my body was just in this constant state of stress.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really. That was one of the things I think that. Like I had quite a few ahas, you know, after we would have our sessions, and so quite often my stress would, I know I'm quite happy to share this, but quite often my stress would be around, you know, like my husband, and there were always, you know, things that I didn't really think of at the time. You know, I would overreact to him quite often, and it was
you were
like
pushing your buttons.
He'd be pushing my buttons, and I realised, and every time he would push my buttons and I would overreact, I would walk away and I'd feel like that little girl inside me would come out, and I'd feel like, you know, when someone tells you off when you're younger and you feel just awful. And he would, it came up all the time, and he never meant it that way, but it was just how my body responded to that, and whatever it brought up in my childhood. So we don't realise that how our subconscious holds all these, like I call them stories, but I guess you know,
or it's even stories or images they call it. It's like an image of something that you couldn't actually fix whilst you're a child. So it's constantly trying to correct that, but anyway, it causes this massive stress response to your body. And you know, when you study the body as a physical, you can see why we're holding on to so much pain in a society. We're not running away from those tigers anymore. We're not in caveman days, and Australia's a relatively, you know, safe country, so we're not worried about people breaking in and attacking us. It's all those, we call it ego. You know, our ego fears that trigger us. And that's why we're so stressed.
That was another thing that I guess like always used to come up for me, and perhaps it does for everybody, those fears of what other people were thinking about me, or even just what I was thinking about myself.
Of course. The low self-esteem and all that kind of stuff. So that's
to tie it into, you know, like how does this actually tie into, how do our emotions actually tie into the physical pain that we're feeling?
Okay, so like I said before, because your body's getting geared up to fight, to run away, and you're actually not running away. So that muscle tension, and we call it over-facilitation. So it's your body goes into this holding pattern of stress. So your muscles get really, really tight. And then, like I said before, other muscles aren't, you know, functioning. So your whole posture goes out. That's just muscular pain, but you can also take it onto a physical level. It can affect organs, so start affecting different organs in your body. Your digestive system really gets affected.
It's one thing that I really did notice.
Because you're not in the sympathetic nervous system, which is running away from the tiger, and not in that rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic, which is, you know, all calm and everything's working, so everything can function like it will, that should. So that's why also a lot of hormonal balances. It puts up your hormones radically. And then it's just that's the chemical layer. And because your chemical layer's out, which is all your hormones, you know, too much stress hormones, not enough of these happy hormones, which makes you feel good. And then you start feeling, you know, on lots of different levels, not just a muscular level.
So it's just a cascade.
So your whole system is out of balance, really.
Because I know that we've worked quite often on like my adrenals, and that helped the pain I was feeling. Is there some sort of pattern that you see in terms of emotions that are coming up, that how they are related to specific areas of the body? For everybody?
Well, they say, so like lower back is often not feeling supported, mostly financially as well. You know, and shoulders is carrying the burden of the world on your shoulders. Feeling like you have to be like, we call it the masochistic character structure, if you have to be this big fortress in order to carry everything in your life. So you're the one that's carrying everything. You know, your knees is often moving forward. And hips. So not feeling flexible in life, feeling stuck. So there's lots of different things.
I find that so interesting. I can just keep thinking about that. So you know, once you dig into the core of pain, like, is there any sort of like, people often want quick fixes in terms of like digging into like fixing their pain. Is there any sort of specific things that they could be doing at home if they can't, if there's no professional in the area that does kinesiology or, anything like that you
so
could
obviously,
offer?
I'm not just a kinesiologist, I'm a yoga teacher as well. So there's obviously different breathing techniques you can do.
Yeah.
And also there's different diffusion points, emotional stress diffusion points that you can actually hold. So a really good home fix, like if I've got a client and saying, you go through a lot of stress in your life, why don't you go home and do this, is holding one hand right behind your back. So you can actually lie in bed while you're doing this. You can lie on your pillow like that. And the other hand you hold on the top of your head here. These are your emotional stress diffusion points.
So at the base of the skull.
Yeah, so it's the base of the skull. So you just hold it like really gently here. Then you're holding here. So just pretend you're lying back. So you're lying like that in bed. And if you've got any shoulder problems, you can put pillows on either side. And then a really good breathing technique is called Savitri. We don't have to really understand too much about that. But if you want to set a timer, I always say set a timer because you don't want to be thinking about anything. The whole point is to take you out of your mental thinking, which causes stress. And it's really hard. You should be breathing in for 8 counts, so like gently, like I'll just give you examples. So you're breathing for 8. And at the top, without clenching your jaw or holding onto your breath, just gently relax into the holding your breath for 4. And then exhale for 8. But because it's really hard for people to breathe in for 8, I always say as many times as you can breathe in without stress.
Start with it.
So probably 6 is a good one, or even less. Even just doing
I find
4, 4, 4.
when I am in that really triggered state, I can't breathe in really deeply. So even sometimes I do a 3 count.
Yeah, so even a 3 count, or even just do 4, 4, 4. Because when people find it hard to breathe in, it's another way of looking at it. They find it hard to take life in. They find it hard to wake up in the morning, get out of bed, and actually engage with life. And the exhales is more about, they find it really hard to let go of control, let go of negative, toxic things they don't need to hang on to. So just observe that. But even if you can just do 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4 while you're holding these points, that's a really beautiful, gentle way. And I used to tell my children when they were younger at school, if you're feeling really, really stressed, run into the toilets and just sit there in the toilets holding these points and just breathe.
I think you gave my daughter a great thing of just like laying on the table.
Or
and
even
just
if you can't get the back one, you can just hold the front ones, So even in your car, you can do that while you're driving, Obviously, not driving fast, but
maybe at the traffic light.
Yeah, exactly.
I quite often actually use that on my daughter. She's definitely a very emotionally charged person, and that is something that I use on her. And obviously she knows that because she's been to you as well. But
so it's good little techniques.
There's
lots of other kinesiology, but it's more complex. And I often give photocopies of clients to take home or points to hold, but they're very complex. So those ones are really great, just in a simple.
Actually, you triggered another thing that I wanted to talk about. So we quite often I walk away with some sort of affirmation. Could you talk about how affirmations affect the subconscious mind? Because we kind of talk about this a bit in our program about how you can reprogram the subconscious mind.
So an emotion, like when you do those affirmations, it's a negative attitude that your body's holding on to. So often when you come to kinesiology, or even just like, at home, there's so many affirmations you can read these days. But we obviously, in kinesiology, your body, it's a specific one for you at that time. And what it's trying to do on a deep subconscious level is to remove that layer. That negative subconscious layer that your subconscious thinks it needs to hang on to. So like I'm trying to explain to people, your subconscious, part of it called the amygdala, when you're young in Australia and South Africa, snakes are dangerous. So you'll get shown pictures of snakes, and that part of your brain takes an image of that snake. That's to protect you. So if you're going for a little walk down the road and out of the corner of your eye you see a snake, your body will automatically try and save you. You'll either freeze, or you'll really get really strong and run away, or you'll fight the snake. So it's the same as emotional stuff that we're hanging on to. The subconscious is holding onto an image because you were stressed before. It thinks it needs to hold onto that negative, it thinks it's positive, but it really is negative, image to cause you to act and get away from a situation when you're stressed. So these affirmations is removing those layers in a beautiful, gentle way to make your subconscious feel like it's safe to let go of it.
Yeah. And
yeah, so it shifts so much on so many different levels.
Yeah, and obviously, like you touched on it before, like your mind thinks it is right.
Yes.
But quite often these subconscious images or thoughts are actually not really true.
Yes, not anymore. You
Yeah.
don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah. And I think a lot of people seem to think that affirmations are a really fluffy thing to do, but done in the right way and with the right understanding, I think they can have a really powerful effect.
Definitely. Yeah. It changes an attitude on a deep level.
Yeah. Beautiful. Is there anything else you would like to add around, providing more awareness around kinesiology and the benefits of kinesiology for our listeners?
Come now.
Honestly, I do think it is the bee's knees.
I've just been doing it for so long, and for me, it's a passion. And I just get blown away by not on physical, muscular levels, but on radical disease and disorder. Like once you get those persons balanced back into their body, because we go into the different organs and functions and systems, everything to do with your body, just the amazing results speak for themselves. And it's very gentle. It's not scary. So it's worth giving it a go for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to provide more education around pain. And so hopefully you'll see you soon.
Yes.